3 employment law and human resource management consulting professionals as they unpack the complexities, analyze the power plays, and reveal the often hidden realities. Understand the game. Understand your role in it. The Third Umpire, critically analyzing Trinidad and Tobago's economic and political realities on how they affect your daily lives. Tune in Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. on The Street 919 FM. Don't just listen to the news. Understand it.
A lovely day for cricket. Blue skies and gentle breeze. The Indians are waiting now to play the West Indies. A signal from the umpire. The match is going to start. The cricketers come on the field. They all look very smart. Irapali Prasana, Gigi Boy and Wadeka, Krishna Murthy and Vishnu Mankad. Them boys could well play cricket on any kind of wicket. They make the West Indies team look so bad. We was in all kind of trouble. Joey Carew pull a muscle. Clive Lloyd get about 3 run out. We was in trouble without a doubt. It was Gavaskar, the real master, just like a wall. We couldn't out Gavaskar at all, not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. Venkataraghavan, Bedi in a turban, Vijay Jaishima, Jayantilal. They helped to win the series against the West Indies at Sabina Park and Queen's Park Oval. 158 by Kanai really sent our hopes up high. Noriega 9 for 95. The Indian team, they still survive. It was Gavaskar, the real master, just like a wall. We couldn't out Gavaskar at all, not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. Rajan Jurani, Solka Abidali, Dilip Sadesai and Vishwanath. They make West Indies bowlers look like second raters when those fellows came out here to bat. West Indies try holder and keep voice. They had no other choice. They even tried with Newton Dow, but a shot and they're sorry they bring him now. It was Gavaskar, the real master, just like a wall. We couldn't out Gavaskar at all, not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Third Umpire. My name is Samoya Sandyford, and I am sitting in for the rest of our umpires while Mr. Matheson is on his way. How is everyone this evening? I'm glad to be with you all, and we must first apologize for our delay, but I'm here, and I'm ready to get started. I hope you all had a fantastic day, and I know we've been having quite a lot of discussions this week, so welcome to all of you. I hope that you all will keep my company and call and share your views, your thoughts, your opinions. In the news, interesting developments. I want to just start with this before we go. We want to continue on with our topic of education and workplace readiness and so on, but I want to hear your thoughts on how you feel about the government trying to modernize. Well, first, removing the Port of Spain prison. How do you feel about that? You know, we understand based on the information that's being shared, this was a move that should have taken place quite a long time ago. And our Minister of Homeland Security shared some details, rather, in terms of how this is expected to happen, which would begin, as he's saying, with a phased move in terms of 4 phases. He said it would involve removing the prisoners from the remand yard at the Port of Spain to the maximum security prison in Aruca, relocating them, the condemned prisoners, from Port of Spain to Golden Grove Prison. So that is going to take some time, and then sending the convicted prisoners from Port of Spain to the Golden Grove and Carrera Island prison facilities. Of course, that is going to take some time in terms of planning out security, in terms of making adjustments and readiness at the other facilities. So what do you think about that? They are saying that we want to address, or they want to address, the prison break trauma in the city. You know, we have a lot of concerns. People are concerned about prison breaks and all of these things happening. It's a valid concern. It is a valid concern. And I mean, this is such a development for such a short time in office. You know, we could look at this and say, all right, well, the team is batting well, isn't that so? But just sharing with you, this is what is happening. They are also saying that this is prime property, and it could be used as another facility, a museum, a training facility, maybe a library or a business place. What are your thoughts about that? Is this performance? How do you feel about it? You know, we live in a very, how do you say, in a society that is suspicious of a lot. We believe in a lot of supernatural occurrences. So how do you feel about that prison or that facility being converted into something, a business, a training facility, a museum? How do we feel about this being converted? You know, is it that the facility had so much trauma that people are even willing to consider changing it over into something new, being in that space where it was so traumatic, so dangerous, filled with prisoners, so much bad history? Are we comfortable with what the plans are going forward? Yes, I would love to hear your thoughts on that. But I must say, it's progressive. It is a progressive move, and we keep our eyes in that direction. So yes, this is what we are looking at right now. The concerns, we have quite a number of national security concerns that are being addressed, and it's so really, it's systematic. All of these things fall into something. We have high unemployment, which are causing people to pursue crime, you know, for lack of a better word. We have those challenges. We have a challenge with the labor market. So, you know, what can be done to prevent these things from happening? The minister even said people have to control their behavior. He said, because there are times where we might have no other choice but to do what the law says with respects to your behavior. So it will be great for us to consider, what do we do to keep people out of the prisons? We are now going to move persons from this facility into an already overly crowded system in terms of the existing prisons that are there. So how bad is it going to get? Is this going to be a health-related issue now that we have to consider? So there's quite a lot of things that I'm sure they would have thought through concerning this move. Is this a good move? What do you think about it? I mean, I'm sure the business community must be happy, must be excited, because they want to reclaim what the city or the hub of business is supposed to be, which does not include an old prison, which creates some challenges with security. So I really do wish the government of the day the best in terms of this execution, because it means on the day that those prisoners are expected to be transferred, which probably would be over a period of days, the security is going to be heightened. We have to expect perhaps some challenges with traffic, the interruption of traffic on that day, you know, areas being cordoned off and so on. So we, the citizens, are still going to experience a bit of inconvenience where this is concerned, you know. So we have to think about these things. Nevertheless, movement is happening, progress is being made. Some people are thankful, some people are worried, concerned. Nevertheless, this comes with the territory of change management. It's something that is supposed to happen. So how are we feeling about that? Additionally, we are looking on the waters and we are seeing where things are escalating between the US and Venezuela. As a matter of fact, yesterday, Venezuela would have sent out some war planes, or however you call it. They sent some jets over the location that the U.S. had their boats, you know. And so today, the U.S. also sent out their Air Force security to treat with that situation. So we are looking at a situation where things are escalating in a heightened manner. What does this mean for Trinidad and Tobago? Recently, I saw on the news, I think the fisher folk or the fisher community had some concerns about that. You know, they can't go out to fish in peace without worrying or being concerned about the effects that this impending war, if we want to say, can have. And it now begs the question for us, are we as a nation prepared for disaster of any kind, not just natural occurrences, but we have disasters that comes with wars, right? Trinidad and Tobago and the region on the whole that is so heavily in need of the investment of tourism. So with a high tourist type investment, is this the best thing for the Caribbean region at this time? Of course, the answer to that will be no, but who can stop, as we were saying this week, who is able to stop the United States? It has already gotten so bad. You see, so sometimes as a nation that makes light of so many things, it's something that we need to be in consistent prayer about, because it not only affects us, it affects also our other Caribbean brothers and sisters. You taking a call? Yes, I'll have to take this call quickly. Good evening. Hi, good evening to you.
Yes, good afternoon, Samoa.
Hi, yes, go right ahead.
I'm glad to see you and glad you're on the show.
Thank you.
And I hope you had a good day as you wished us. So many things you spoke about, but my take is, in life, and that's me, in life, you have to expect, even from a child, I was taught, life is made up of hills and valleys. Absolutely. And ups and downs and all kind of things, right? And you asked just now if we are prepared. You just have to look at our nation. If it's raining heavily, or in a little kind of storm, the panic, the country and tailspin the country that's being, you know, you think it's a something more than it is. A simple thing as flooding and all kind of things, we go in all a right. Panic in this country.
Caller, I just want you to hold that thought. Can you call us back? We have to go on a break quickly. Call me right back.
I didn't notice the time.
All right.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street. 919 FM. Calling all choir. This is TNT's first gospel choir event of its kind. It's finally here. This is Divine Harmony. Choirs from all over the country will vie for over $250,000 in prizes. Semi-final round, the East-West Corridor, Saturday, September 20th, Central and South Trinidad, Saturday, September 27th, and Tobago, Saturday, October 4th. To register, call 719-9599. TNT, get ready. This is Divine Harmony. Everybody say that. The number
#1 bookstore in Trinidad is having the biggest back-to-school sale for the holidays.
Shop at Sharon's Bookstore for the biggest back-to-school sale.
All your kindergarten, preschool,
primary, secondary school,
and tertiary education supplies at ridiculously low prices. Sharon's also carries a wide range of sneakers, socks, t-shirts, vests for girls and boys,
and much more items for school. So don't miss Sharon's back-to-school sale.
Now on Eastern Main Road, San Juan, Tunapuna.
2 locations at Trin City Mall, ground level and first level. We're also open on Sundays from 8 a.m. Check us on Facebook for up-to-date info and promotions. Also, message us for a quick response.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning on The Street 919 FM radio. Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
Pay $1 down on higher purchase plans at Furniture Plus. Enjoy fast approval, low interest rates, and up to 36 months financing. Retirees, self-employed, and permanent employees apply today. Buy now, pay later with Furniture Plus credit plans. Conditions apply.
Trinidad and Tobago. The Big Deal Nation is calling you. For just $38.95, the KFC Big Deal Packs in 2 pieces of hot, crispy or original chicken, your favorite regular side, and a large drink. Now that's a real big deal. And don't forget, with every big deal you buy, you'll also score an exclusive signed poster from the King of Steam himself, Young Brother. So, rep your nation, rep your vibe, and lock in your big deal today. Big life, big vibe, big flavor. Only at KFC. It's finger-licking good. Craving the golden perfection of homemade fry bakes without the fuss? Lion Brand Fry Bake Mix, in its convenient, easy-to-use pouch, makes it incredibly simple. Just add water and yeast, mix, and fry for crispy fried bakes that are ready in minutes. Perfect for a quick snack, our Fry Bake Mix helps you bring family and friends together around the table for a delicious meal. Share the flavor and create delicious memories with Lion Brand Fry Bake Mix. Lion Brand, the power behind our great taste traditions.
Tune in to The Street 919 FM every Friday from 9:15 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. with Kingdom Health Services, situated at number 125 to 186 Eastern Main Road in Tunapuna, for the program Health and Healing, merging the old with the new, with Mr. Brent Diet. For more information, call 318-7471 or 484-0141 or 360-4100. It's all about Kingdom Health Services on The Street 919 FM.
Join the winning team with Pastor Alkaline John
every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
live on The Street 919 FM as he talks about Lviv, the power of 5 fruits, one of the most powerful antioxidant supplements on the market today. The 5 superfruits in Lviv are mangosteen, acai, pomegranate, goji, and nuni. These fruits have a positive and profound impact on human health performance and disease. Join him as he gives live testimonials of the Lviv healing powers. To get more information, you can contact Pastor Alkaline John at 516-286-7079, or you can visit his webpage at www.alkalinejohn.com. Remember,
every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
live on The Street 919 FM.
Achieve risen baked goods every time with Lion Brand Baking Powder. Our convenient, easy-to-use pouch ensures freshness and makes measuring a breeze. From cakes to cookies, Lion brand baking powder is your secret ingredient for the best results. Imagine the smiles as you share your delicious homemade creations with family, friends, and neighbors. Baking is about more than just food. It's about creating memories. Choose Lion brand baking powder and bake up some sweet moments. Lion brand, the power behind our great taste traditions.
The Embassy Yacht is back and ready to transform your events into unforgettable experiences. Launched from Kings Wharf, San Fernando, the perfect starting point for an epic experience of luxury, music, and celebration on the open water. By booking our vessel, your event will include a house DJ, state-of-the-art sound system, fully stocked bar, dedicated cleaning crew, top-notch security. This isn't just a venue, it's a floating masterpiece designed to make your event the talk of the town. Imagine your guests dancing under the stars, drinks in hand, with breathtaking views of the coastline as your backdrop. From birthdays to corporate events to exclusive parties, the Embassy Yacht offers promoters a unique platform to create unforgettable memories and boost your brand's reputation. Call or WhatsApp 399-5959 or email embassycruises@gmail.com.
Are you ready to elevate your baking game? Try Lion brand self-rising flour, now in our convenient and eco-friendly pouch packaging. With just the right balance of flour and baking powder, our self-rising flour takes the guesswork out of baking. Whether you're whipping up fluffy pancakes for the kids or baking a delicious cake for that special occasion, Lion brand self-rising flour helps you create not just food, but connections that bring people together. Bake more, worry less, and share the goodness. Lion brand, the power behind our great taste traditions.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
All right, and we are back. Good evening once again to you. I'm Samoya Sandiford, and just holding on for the other umpires as they are on their way. We are talking about the conflict with Venezuela and the U.S. at this time. And at the same time, we were looking at the move of the prison, or Port of Spain prison, and moving the prisoners to the other facilities depending on which level they are in terms of their imprisonment. So feel free, we had a caller just called earlier to give your contribution. Feel free to call right back in and we'll continue with the discussion. You know, we had to think about, I started speaking about our readiness for disaster at this level. This is not just a situation of natural disaster, which, you know, we have agencies in place to provide the support. We are now speaking about a situation of national security where loss of lives can occur at a massive level. It also impacts the ability of the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago by extension, to receive tourists. Is going to impact our tourism sector significantly. As a matter of fact, Carl, on today's news, it's saying Carl suspends Trinidad to Caracas flights. That's impacting us on the world stage, the way we are looking in this situation. It may be no fault of our own, but with this situation that's happening, it's going to severely damage our economy where that tourism is concerned. And while Trinidad and Tobago is not completely dependent on tourism, we have other countries that have that impact. Let's take a call. Good evening. Hi. Welcome.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Now, here is one of the biggest problems, and nobody is studying this. We have a number of Trinidadians in Venezuela working in government agencies, like immigration, etc., etc.
Embassy.
And the government has not sent any notice or find a way to get them back home. My sister is one of them. And now, right now, she catches the tail to try and get her plane to come back here.
Wow.
Right? Because they had to worry about flying back here because Mr. Trump might blow the tail out of the sky and call them narco terrorists. Because we all know that. And we have a prime minister that just support, and everybody heard her, extrajudicial killings. So now, can we ask for anything different? I would like to hear the Minister of National Security, who was a past police, if he supports extrajudicial killings, and if we can expect him, the officers of Trinidad and Tobago, to function in like manner, which the Prime Minister just supported. Because maybe that is part of the plan. And you know who will forget killed out? The little black boy. Extrajudicial killings supported by our reckless Prime Minister, and the people still say holla. They still love it. And yes, you have a right. Kill them. But I don't know if anybody heard the message sent by the Venezuelan Minister of Security.
Yes.
That our fishermen are now at risk of death. And I want people to understand part of the problem. Do you know the size of a shrimp? The normal size of a shrimp. It's about 8 inches long. Right?
Yes.
What is the size of the game shrimp? About 4 inches, right? Okay. You know why? My father was dealing in shrimp. They just go in the river in Venezuela and pick the baby shrimp before it reaches out. And that is what caused a lot of problems where fishermen just get locked up. I dare any of them to come right now and tell me a lie. Because shrimp don't be 4 inches. I want to just fool me and tell me that it's jumbo shrimp. If you ever see a jumbo shrimp, you will want to know what is that. Because it's a very large shrimp. It's like a mini lobster. And they have been doing this for years. But now, they're not going to be at risk of jail, they'll be at risk of death. And we just have a problem with just going and start to cost other people $200 and $300 a pound.
Yeah.
Because how you going on first? I want people to understand something here again. What is the maritime law in regards to mileage of waters in the maritime law for waters according to a country? As far as this is 12 miles. But I know the distance between Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela is 12 miles. So technically we in Venezuela waters then. You see how technical this thing going on get, right?
Yes, yes, I understand.
And this woman is they have already gotten reports of a number of Russian tanks and China tanks and Russian other equipment offloaded in Venezuela. India, Russia, China, Iran, and Korea came together and said they're no longer supporting the US. And while Mr. Trump might look to come on TV and said that they're not after the oil, and by the way, let me tell you something about that. Chevron is sending out 21% more oil from Venezuela than was occurring under President Biden, despite the fact that President Trump jumped up and said, we no longer buy any oil from Venezuela. So how can you believe anything people like that say when it's lies? Like from 640,000 barrels per day to 970,000 barrels per day. It has increased that they're buying from Venezuela. And he is promoting, supporting, and financing a so-called narco country. So who are you really fooling? Or who are you trying to fool? People listen, or they don't get tired for now with the lies that are being perpetrated against the citizenry via the media. Be very careful. Do your research. Read and understand. And I find the leader that we have now is very reckless, and to just make the whole of Trinidad look like giant fools, because the man even mentioned that leader of Trinidad and Tobago is a drunkard. That's internationally. That went international. So how we looking? How nice we looking? You know it's the code. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much. So I understand we understand the implications of what this can have, and the caller mentioned the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago that are stuck in Venezuela now because, as I said, CAL has suspended the Trinidad to Caracas flights, and that impacts their safety. We have to also look out for situations where they may be subject to attacks unwarranted just because they are Trinidadian. Those are the challenges that we face. Even the Venezuelans that are here, they are subject to attacks and criticism and so on, just on the basis of being Venezuelan. So these are realities that we all have to face where this situation is concerned. It's not an isolated event. And it's very sad, as the caller is saying, he's clearly concerned for the safety of his family member, his relative. And so all other persons impacted would feel the same way. Even in light of that, I'm seeing here where the families of those 11 fishermen that were killed, they are grieving, they are in a lot of pain. What I didn't see in the article is their denial of activity related to drugs. There's no evidence of that, at least being commented in the newspaper. But families are broken, families are destroyed because of this. Nevertheless, when you think about, again, readiness for disaster of any type, any magnitude, how ready are we in terms of our military? We spoke about that some weeks ago. Is it that our military are armed or prepared for something of that nature? Let's take this call. Good evening, welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, you're doing a very, very good job, man.
Thank you. I'm holding on for my brothers today.
Yeah, very good. And what you say, the name was Sandy Ford. Now, Sandy Ford is a Bajan name, so you must have cricket in your blood. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyhow, on this, the caller just called and talk about the sister, but normally when you have impending invasion or they say incursions and things, normally all embassies will ask the employees to target, and they'll send military planes and whatever to get them out. So maybe it didn't reach that high on in terms of the security threat as yet. But I'm sure when that time reached, that a lot of embassies will send transportation, right?
Yes.
For their personnel there to get out. Yeah, normally they do 48 hours, and and even like citizens and all, they send transportation even for normal citizens. So that will be taken care of. But how I see it as this blockade with the ships, is I think to cripple the Venezuelan economy there, so there'll be no food stuff, and there'll be, no ships can come in or leave. So then there'll be a lot of threats, and people will be uneasy, and it will end up in an uprising, and then the U.S. may take appropriate action as they see fit. So that is how most times these things operate. But we have to understand that America is a hegemonic power in the world, right? And what will you do? What will you do as a Grenadian? There is a saying in Grenada that you cannot leave a woman walking in high heel shoes and go to a woman who walking in rubber slippers.
Yes.
Right? This world is about survival. So, right? But people just talking, but I don't know how we got tied up with this Venezuelan situation. I remember in the glory days of Trinidad, we call them now, in the glory days of Trinidad and Tobago relationships with Venezuela. I remember we had an ambassador here by the name of Carlos Irazabal. And his daughter Gabriela Irazabal used to win the Junior King here for years in Carnival. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, that was when we, and that was under President Carlos Andres Perez, which was the man there before Chavez came.
Yes.
Right? And then he came with this leftist kind of governance, and that is what price we're paying today.
Yeah.
But anyhow, thanks much, and you take care, because and I was end by saying you are ready for the ICC International Panel of Umpires. Yeah, very good. Very impressive. Yeah, so you take care.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for calling. Thank you.
Right.
So this, as we continue this conversation, we must take into consideration that this isn't just a Venezuela-US matter. It's about the everyday fisherman in Cedros, in Mayaro, whose livelihoods are being threatened. And even things like the cost of fuel in Trinidad and the ripple effect on the Caribbean economy. Big power struggles often hit small nations the hardest. And we have to ask ourselves, how do we protect our people in these waters? How do we position our economies to thrive after such a fallout? I'm not even saying after, during and after such a fallout. We are heavily, as a Caribbean, we are dependent on tourism. This is not a good look for us at all. The effects that we could face. I mean, we would say, okay, there's oil and gas, but where are they getting the oil and gas from? The rigging happens where? In the sea. And if we have our people out there exposed to those powers, all this fighting that's happening, it is going to affect us. Investors are going to look and say, right now is not a good time to even look at the Caribbean to invest. Is this the best thing? And you know what's sad about this situation? There is no one to say to the US, stop this. As the seat of the United Nations, they get to do whatever they want. It's pretty sad. It's very, very sad what's happening. And of course, US is not backing down and Venezuela is not backing down either. We have to think about how it affects our small man on the street, our fisher folk. They're having some challenges. Let's take this call. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Hi, good afternoon. One thing I forgot. President Trump is boasting that he sent a submarine within 3 miles of the shores of Venezuela, and they didn't even know. But what he said, and he said that, Venezuela is playing checkers, but America is playing chess. But he failed to notify the public that 2 Venezuelan F-16 planes flew over all his destroyers and they didn't fire at them.
Wow.
So who really playing chess? And then let people of Trinidad know that if Venezuela was to let go those 2 F-16s over our country, before America could reach, they will come to rescue the ashes. People go and look up the armament that's onto a F-16 Talon. It's frightening.
Absolutely.
To say the least.
Absolutely.
They have surface, air-to-surface missile bombs, and the worst of all, which they still carry, unfortunately. I thought they had banned that. But napalm. If you know anything about napalm, it's a mixture that where the bomb it drops and bounces, and every time it bounces, it sets out some of the liquid, and then catches a fire, and the fire goes back to all which part it dropped off, and burns everything in the part. So if they drop a couple of those here, the destruction will be devastating. And this is what we playing tic-tac-toe with. And you're asking if we are ready. Ma'am, All we are ready to do is like if it is we are on an aeroplane, a couple thousand feet in the sky, and lost all power. The only readiness we can do is put our heads between our legs and kiss our butt goodbye. Think about what is happening and what can happen. And what is as us as a supporter of America. And we have India, China, Russia. They decide to retaliate on us, on Venezuela's behalf, because Mr. Trump highlighted us and said they have been given permission to go into Trinidad waters on international media. So all of a sudden, we are pulled in and we will not go unscathed. We ready to do what? Right? Have a nice day.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. Absolutely understand your point completely. And these are the realities that we are facing. You know, when we think about wars, we think it's so far away. We have a call coming in. Let's take that call. Good evening and welcome. Good evening, welcome.
Good evening, good evening. There are so many things that we look at from us as circumstances of the extreme. America has declared that Venezuela has the narco industries operating there. So they send along the ships and whatever they have. Did Venezuela come out and say that there are no narco people operating there? If they are willing to hand it over to the Americans, did they ask for the international community to come and do an inspection check to see that existence? This is not a war between Venezuela and Trinidad. And if it was, Trinidad would be an island. So then who would defend us? So we're looking at things now from that at a very tense situation in Venezuela. And you want our fishermen to go into Venezuela water?
Yes.
You seen firewater run into the house? So people have to look at things from a realistic point of view.
Yeah.
What should we do? So if as when the Prime Minister didn't say anything and she remained neutral, does it mean that if something happened that nothing would happen to Trinidad? So when we look at things from all angles, we need to look at things from stop being alarmist and extremist and look at the ways and means how things can work out and what are some of the solutions.
Yeah.
While they're talking about these big countries coming together who are nuclear powers, you think they will remain together?
Of course not.
You think they remain united all the time? Each one of them have their own interests.
That's correct.
So they have to unite together to fight one common enemy, which is the United States. So when we look at things from a holistic point of view, just making assumptions and jumping to conclusions, that may never happen. And in the event it happened, is there anything Trinidad could do? Do we have a dome? We have nothing to prevent anything from happening. So we always have to hope for the best.
Yes, understand.
And the Venezuelan people are sending threats to Trinidad and calling our Prime Minister all sorts of things. This is not something between Venezuela and Trinidad.
Yeah.
This is between America and Venezuela. So then how it is now, because somebody take a stand and say I'm in support of X, Y, or Z, you're threatening me now.
That's the world we live in, eh?
Yes. So we need to look at things now from how do we come out of this now with a smile? How do we come out in a peaceful fashion? And all I'm suggesting, if Venezuela says that they don't have no narco industry already, then indicate that. Allow the international people with the UN to come in and look and check to say, well, America is doing nonsense and they're accusing me wrongfully. The business transaction that between America and Venezuela and all the rest of countries in the world is separate from the narco industry.
Yeah.
And in our industry, we have identified as causing some of the biggest criminal problems that we have in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
And if somebody's assisting us now with sort of a quelling that or bringing it down to a lower level, then our circumstances improves. And we need to look at things now from the perspective that, yes, how we benefit. And we have to look at things now in that direction and not only bother about, well, the people who take a side and they're against America, well, America, bad. Well, they're bad. That's who it is. And Venezuela do what they want. So they come down on Venezuela. If Venezuela is innocent, then show your innocence.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. So tell them, look, we don't have that. Come in and investigate. Call upon the United Nations. Send people to look at that. Don't accuse you wrongfully, but we know that ever since the drugs coming out of that area, and not only Venezuela, Colombia and other places and all those. Today the drug has changed. We talk about fentanyl. You don't have to carry no big shipload. It's a simple suitcase now. And that will kill thousands or even millions of people. So that we fly in a plane, they're going to no boat. So we have to be realistic and look at how things change. And when we look at these things now, then we begin to say, look, let us remain quiet as we telling the Prime Minister to stay quiet. We also have to stay quiet and don't aggravate as a division. And look at how it is now. We can offer some suggestions that may bring about a peaceful settlement in that area based on what is happening now. So when we suppose this and suppose that and suppose all kind of thing, we live in a fool's paradise because none of that may happen. And things will set up with a smile, and then I think good thing that happen and this and that, and we're talking a little positive now and we're happy and we rejoice.
Yes.
So we need to be cautious, but at the same time be optimistic. You have a good afternoon.
Thank you so much for calling. Thank you for your contribution. And yes, we have all of these comments now that's happening back and forth, you know, with our leaders, the people we are looking to assist us through these trying times, and we are in verbal spats about a drunk and otherwise and madmen and all of these things that's happening. And you know, the rest of the world is looking on, the Caribbean region is looking on to see what is happening with our leaders. Nevertheless, they are human, and their responses are very much human. We'll take this next call. Good afternoon, welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon, Ms. Simona.
Hi, welcome.
Yes, I was a bit slow in responding to your program and your question. But I'm saying, you know, I don't know, I'm a bit confused. And people must not bury their head in the sand. One thing about this country I've learned quite a lot. It is filled with deceit and hypocrisy.
Yes.
Over the last 10 years, the government of Trinidad and Tobago has had a very strong bond with the Maduro regime. They were eating and drinking and whining and dining in Venezuela. And we know for a fact that once the leader, they follow their leader, and everybody's, right now the country as it is, almost half the population is supporting Venezuela. And this notion about the man talk about drunk, the only place you could get this thing from is in Trinidad, and by certain people within a particular party, because they were spewing that all over the place for the last 9, 10 years, and 15 years. So I'm not surprised. And when people want to stoke fear, trying to stoke fear, without understanding, I don't know, all of a sudden, you have such an international, I tell you, this place started inundated, right, with public relations, or in fact international relations experts, making all kinds of pronouncements, based purely on speculation, no fact, no evidence to support the nonsense they're doing. I listen and I'm confused myself, because I am hearing that the Minister of Communication in Venezuela under the Maduro regime, I read on the papers this morning, I think it's the Express, where he was saying that the whole thing with the blowing up of the boat or whatever, he said that is AI generated, and yet still they're running with this thing. And I mean, if Maduro is saying that, because he speaks from Maduro regime, and he's saying it's AI, Trump is saying that they blow it up. I am confused, and I'm hearing some of the people within the PNM, the opposition, saying that the question of rule of law and extrajudicial killing, I am confused, because if they are saying, Venezuela is saying that, hey, listen, that whole thing, that is a stunt. And they're running all over the place, this and who killed them extrajudicial, and the person who they're supporting, the person who they're rallying behind, telling them, hey, listen, that is AI. I don't understand it. So I'm saying that people, see, I don't know what to believe. I don't know who to accept. Trump has his own reputation by himself for spewing all kinds of things. And I'm hearing now what we would call minister of propaganda in some respect. That's how some countries refer to the communication minister. He's saying that it's AI. I'm hearing from an independent newspaper in Venezuela which says, and that is also in the Express, where he's saying, where they are saying that the arms were bound for Trinidad. So the whole thing is confusing. So all I want to let Venezuela and the Americans deal with the situation from here. Let us stay out of it and not try to stoke fear in this country. Yes, the government would have its part to play in terms of ensuring that the people are safe in the event that you have, a clash between those two forces. And let's watch and see, but don't try to stoke fear within this country, this island. They're scared and this and that and who down there and all kind of nonsense. And we are accustomed to that. We have a history of propaganda. And not only that, the conspiracy theories. We have to get to the facts. What are the facts? Where's the evidence? So no running around the place, and that is not going to move me. There are those who are going to do, but they're moving me. And one thing I want to say again with respect, you look at the Caribbean. The Caribbean is divided, and the Caribbean has always been divided with respect to American intervention within the Caribbean.
Yes.
If you go back to Grenada, in 1970s, whatever it was, they were divided. Eugenia Chavez and Tom Adams and those people, they supported the invasion with Ronald Reagan of Grenada, whereas Trinidad took a stance not to support, and other islands. You see today what is happening. Some of them are what they call this organization, CELAC or whatever it is. You have this man down in St. Vincent, and you have some others from Antigua or wherever it is. But again, Caribbean is being divided. With all that is being said, I haven't heard anything from Mayor Motley. I haven't heard anything from Hollis. Well, we know, because the fact remains, CARICOM is divided. Even when the matter of Venezuela had its trouble, had its times with Venezuela, few Caribbean countries, Diana, few countries in the Caribbean, CARICOM countries, really take a serious stand against Venezuela. They play a whole sort of game. So they're just joking. And what is happening, and you have to understand your strengths and your weaknesses. These Caribbean countries, they must understand. You must operate from your position of strength. Your weakness, you can't stand up to America. When you're ready, he called you F-hole country. When you're ready, he spoke about those people. This guy came down and he went to Jamaica. He said, anybody taking Rubio, anybody taking nurses from Venezuela, from Cuba, we're going to sanction you. And he started share sanction. They started sanction. All of them put the tail between the legs. You have Grenadian ministers who can't, but they took with their visa and all that kind of thing. Nobody opened their mouth to say a word. All you hear is that they have a meeting, we writing letter, all kind of making out. The fact you have to understand your strengths and your weaknesses. And we don't have any strength in that. We can't dictate nothing there. Right? Look, Europe can't even dictate what's going on in Ukraine. America decides to not to support Ukraine, and that's it. America decides to support Israel, and that's it. So they know, all of them, they know the weakness, and they're on their knees. They have to run to Maliabo to bend down to me. You telling me about CARICOM, and we have to meet, and we have to tell them this and that. Mickey Mouse thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your contribution. All right, so, delving deeper into what this impact of this situation, this conflict can cause for Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean region as a whole, where the economy is concerned, we are certain that it is going to impact trade and energy. We could see some supply chain challenges, definitely, in terms of the pressures that will come where we have to get oil and other resources and so on. You could expect if the U.S. continues to tighten their sanctions, then, you know, definitely we will feel the squeeze where we have our trading happening between us and Venezuela. We also have the issue of the migration pressures. We spoke about the impact of the nationals, the Venezuelan nationals, looking to Trinidad and having issues with us. Let's take a next call. Good afternoon, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Moya. I see you holding on for yourself.
Yes, I am. Good evening.
I love your color red.
Yeah,
Let's
man.
go Soca Warriors today.
Yeah, man.
Victory.
Let's go Soca Warriors.
Yes. Well, Mr. Moya, so now this is where we come to question, right? If we're really truly independent. You have a man from a different country calling your Prime Minister drunkard, and you can take offense at that. You applauding that. This is Trinidad and Tobago. This is when you stand up for the red, white, and black, and you have a next man from a country calling your Prime Minister drunkard. You can have whatever riffraff inside your own country with people's citizens, but you don't let somebody from a different country call your Prime Minister drunkard. That is a shame. But
absolutely.
You see, I hear a man talk, Venezuela go fly and drop 2 bombs on Trinidad. You don't know about the Geneva Conference or 1949. You don't know about war crimes. You think Venezuela got put God out of their thoughts of bomb Trinidad. This has nothing to do with Trinidad. Trinidad is just supporting it. This is Venezuela and United States. And Venezuela will be a proxy. China not going to send troops. Russia not going to send troops. India not going to. They will supply them with arms and ammunition.
Yeah.
But America have arms and ammunition to back themselves up. They produce weapons. So they know this war will only create havoc and instability in the world. If this war really takes place between America and Venezuela, you know what the economy of this world will be? You know what Haiti does say there's mud cakes? But that's what people will have to eat.
That is what I think people should understand. This is a real situation. As I said, are we really ready for a disaster that magnitude? If we think about the humanitarian issues that's coming out of it, we are comfortable in our AC and our well-lit homes. We know what it is to be in darkness for days, for months, for years. We don't have that understanding. This is not a joke. This is not a joke at all.
And as the gentleman before said, the Venezuelan government say it was AI, so I don't see where's the problem. Why we still thinking it's mass killing and all of this? When they say it's AI, you see, we injecting a fear in this country that we're not supposed to.
Well, caller,
if I were...
I mean, while the Venezuelan minister is saying it's AI, but there's confirmation coming out of Venezuela that this actually happened. The families of these 11 men are in grief. So this changes the dynamics now of what is happening here.
So somebody's hiding something.
That's right.
And what they're hiding will come out of light. You see, somewhere, if you look at it, Trinidad is not a superpower. And the questions we asking and demanding, we're not supposed to be even asking a question. You think we could ask questions on America? You think we could ask questions on Russia? You think we could ask questions on China or India? They are superpowers.
That's correct.
And if a war do take place, who do you think is the first country to bring aid to this country? It would be America. You think Venezuela is going to bring aid to Trinidad? You know what I love and I wish I was a Guyanese right now? Because Guyana is not, people is backing up the president. And that is what you call truly being independence.
Well, this is where we have to put party politics aside, because, you know, you made a statement earlier where you said, why would we allow anyone to disrespect our Prime Minister? Regardless of whether we like her or not, persons have issues, whatever happened in the past, this person is our Prime Minister. And is it okay for us to encourage someone to call her names, regardless of how we feel she's dealing with the situation? You see?
Exactly. And for the caller who say his family and people in Venezuela, they will give them opportunity. That is part of the agreement with the International Criminal Court. And you have to give people to evacuate their country from a different country who's working across there. That is part of it. If they only do them anything like blow up the embassy, wherever, they will send in troops. The whole world will go at Venezuela. You cannot do that. So I don't know where this fear mongering coming from.
Thank you.
Let me leave you to other people. Mr. Mayor, you have a great weekend. Safe, and I'll see you Monday.
Thank you so much, man. Right. Thank you for your contribution.
Bye-bye.
You know, and we have that conversation about some people saying we don't want the fear-mongering, and then there's also the other side of the argument that says we need to take this seriously. Which side are you on? Do you think it's fear-mongering? Do you think it's awareness? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, because I think, you know, the media has a tendency to shine a light on a lot of things. So, for example, earlier this week, I think yesterday we discussed and we said that the numbers, the statistics in terms of the murders are down now compared to some years ago. But then there are members of the public that are saying, well, it's not necessarily so. We are seeing kidnapping happening. We are still seeing murders. We are still seeing things before our faces that dispute the numbers that we are seeing. So is it really fear-mongering or the presentation of facts? Is it that we are blinding ourselves to the truth of what this can be? We who quarrel and fuss when current go, we can't breathe, we want to faint without our AC. What do you think the experience is like to live as a refugee? I think we need to come to the understanding that this is not a joke. And, you know, while we want to be hopeful, we want to be optimistic, at the same time, we have to consider the realities that are before us. Loss of lives, the loss of economy, the loss of history, and the structures that we have had be built in this country for all of these years. All of these things are at risk should a war take place where we are located in the center of this war. So we need to take these things into consideration. You can keep your calls coming in as we continue this discussion. I'm just here with you probably for the next 22 minutes or so until we close off the program. But yes, this is something that we need to take into consideration. There is the regional issue that's happening internally here in our country. Nationally, we do have national security issues that we are concerned about each and every day. The moving of the prison, the existing issues related to crime, people no longer feel comfortable because of our national issues. And I am seeing our umpire coming in for the last few moments. Mr. Matteson is here. So yes, while Mr. Matteson gets set up, Mr. Matteson, we are talking about the issue with Venezuela and the United States that's still happening. Some callers are saying this is fear-mongering. Some callers are saying it's awareness. We need to take this seriously. How are you feeling about this? And I hope I made you proud this evening.
Yeah, good evening to all listeners. Good evening to all listeners. Simoy, I've been driving down from South and I'm listening to you. And very good show.
Thank you.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you, man.
So good evening to all listeners again. And you know I have my position on
yes. Well, yes, it's escalating now. Planes in the sky. We have the drama that's happening now, and the genuine concerns about our ability to survive this.
My position is, even with the discussion on the AI, you know, images and that kind of thing, I think we need to put things into context. And there's a huge lesson for international relations here. I think persons need to direct the comments appropriately. I think also, you know, leaders have to be responsible also in what they say and how they say it. And outside of that, the discussion remains an asinine discussion for me, because as many of your callers would have said, America will do what America feel it has to do, right? And the government, or I should say government, trying to be a government, to a large extent, before and now, they would have made certain decisions with America, which really hasn't changed.
Yeah.
So, which is why I'm saying the whole discussion and the whole, there's a kind of like a storm in a teacup. It's an asinine discussion, because they would have set the train for certain things to happen, and it's happening. Right? I am neither, I disagree, by the way, with what those agreements were.
Yeah.
And I disagree with, to a large extent, with the comments by our leader. But I am not one to come out and say that, you know, to call any names or...
That's correct. That's going to a level it doesn't need to go to.
I think things could be dealt with differently.
Yeah.
But this is a issue that was ventilated on this show already, and I think there are a lot of very important things that we could, you know, discuss going forward, you know.
But you know, Stephen, interesting, just before you go, we mentioned that AI thing and the fact that there's a report of the families of these 11 men. So it's not AI. What does the minister have to say about that?
In context, they probably were saying the images of drugs was AI imaging or something. I didn't read it. So I don't
but
know
he didn't
exactly
say the imaging of the drugs. He was saying the footage looked like AI, but men died.
Right. So the footage could have been footage from the cockpit of the vessel that was imaging the shoot down the boat. So it would look so, but you know, they know that that's how these things look. As well as he could genuinely think that it's AI, and he could probably be you know, attributing those statements to the fact that someone might have said that the boat had drugs in it. I don't know. Right? So, but yesterday we were talking about the report that we got just before the show ended.
Yeah.
And it's related to the fact that the Prime Minister or the Minister of Homeland Security would have indicated that the prisons...
Yeah, the decommissioning prison.
...would be decommissioned. That is the Royal Jail.
Yeah.
And that, to me, should be big news today.
It's huge news, yeah.
Right, because that... Yesterday I was saying the prison might have been more than 100 years old.
Yes, 268.
It's 260 something years. Right, since the 17 something.
Yep.
So that was before a lot of things happened in Trinidad and Tobago. That was we still had slavery in Trinidad and Tobago when and it was labeled a holding pen.
Wow.
Right? So today that should be probably a monument that reminds us of a particular time in our history. Yet we have people in that institution, that building that was designed as a holding pen, right? Years ago when you had men in shackles, you had our foreparents, whoever, old Englishmen, whoever, inside there, and that was still used up to today as a jail, and we call it the Royal Jail. That is unfortunate.
So you think that should be converted into something monumental? Or because people are suggesting business, some form of business?
Well, it's history. So I don't know how. I mean, it might be too early to say how it should be utilized, how it should be what it should be converted into. But it's certainly something to remember, especially those who have spent a lot of their time inside there.
Correct.
Both prison officers and prisoners.
Yeah.
You know, to tell the grandchildren
that was the royal jail.
That was a jail at one time. You know. But yeah, I think that was a good decision. But it augurs well for the psyche of prisoners, and we talk about people revisiting prison after they come out of prison, and some of the reasons why, because inside there are no room for rehabilitation.
Yeah,
in my view. And therefore, that could have only been an instrument to retrain people for returning into prison.
Yeah.
Or a life of crime. So, you know, I'm glad they're condemning it. And whatever they do going forward in relation to housing prisoners, whether they put them in, they say they're sending them up. MSP,
yeah, they're splitting them up. Yeah.
MSP and, by the way, MSP, that is maximum
security,
right?
RUCA. Yeah.
Maximum security prison. That is a prison, from what I understand, is where they have convicted prisoners.
Yes.
Right?
So they're splitting them up between there and Carrera. Yeah.
So I don't know what the state of Carrera. I haven't heard much on the state of Carrera, but that is certainly that's a good move.
What do you think about the health issues?
I think if you were to put that in context with how the batsman batted, yeah, that's
of
good
course
batting.
it's a good move, and as I said earlier, I'm sure the business community will be happy.
So the batting good, but the making they ain't scoring no set runs, and they ain't scoring no set runs yet. I mean the kind of, you know, looking kind of regressive in some ways. That being said, just now is budget.
Yeah.
And, you know, Trinidad and Tobago would certainly want to find out where we going.
Yeah. What is the direction?
What is the direction this country will be going if or when that budget is ready.
Yeah.
And we've always said on this program, we talk about the education system quite a lot yesterday, the prison system and the prison and crime and that kind of, this is the back end of failed education system. We spoke to a large extent about what we would like to see in the budget in relation to real development.
Yeah.
Right? Clearly the country don't have a lot of money. We don't I don't want to say we do have a lot of revenue generating activities taking place to earn the revenue to facilitate a budget outside of paying recurrent expenditure, right? Outside of paying government salaries and all them kind of thing, we're not generating the kind of revenue. So to do anything outside of that, so what you might very well have is either a deficit budget, right, where you have a lot of borrowings or to facilitate your budget, just spending, or you have a balanced budget or a close to balanced budget where you could only do minimum stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So that is the situation we're looking at. And even with that, with a balanced budget where you could only pay, in most cases, you don't have much revenue generating activities to facilitate all the lofty ideas that we might have, and we would have spoken about on this program from time to time. You would just be in a negative situation, meaning you're not growing in any significant way. And I am thinking maybe we should probably borrow some money or invite, develop, fund, build kind of ideas from places like the Chinese and India and and even Africa to some extent, and develop certain industries where we could start to find markets outside of Trinidad and Tobago to earn foreign exchange. And agriculture is an area where you can do that, because we have the right kind of climate for it, we have the right kind of space for it, and therefore agriculture certainly is an area. So ladies and gentlemen, the show is coming to an end. I didn't realize we reached down to the last 6 seconds. So we will certainly see you tomorrow. I mean,
Monday.
on Monday.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Tell A Friend Charlo Farm is bringing all the flavor with none of the inconvenience. We offer dehydrated pimento flakes, shadow benny and signature seasoning, blend with garlic, ginger, thyme, pimento, shadow benny. All ingredients are locally green and feature additives, preservatives or added sodium, and with a shelf life of 2 years once stored properly. You cannot go wrong. Call us at 763-0992. That's 763-0992. Flavor your pot with Charlo Farm. Transform your soups and stews with the rich flavor of Lion Brand Split Peas Powder. Packaged in a handy, easy-to-use pouch. It's never been simpler to add depth and nutrition to your meals. Whether it's a cozy family dinner or a small line with close friends, Lion Brand Split Peas Powder helps you create delicious dishes that bring people closer. Elevate your cooking and share the goodness with those you love. Lion Brand, the power behind our great taste traditions.
Don't miss Furniture Plus Inventory Blowout Sale. Get up to 65% off in-store and online. Enjoy massive savings on furniture, appliances, and more. Hurry, this deal won't last. Shop now and save big at Furniture Plus.
Trinidad and Tobago. The Big Deal Nation is calling you. For just $38.95, the KFC Big Deal Packs in 2 pieces of hot